Week 9. This is your final week of the class. I know you're going to miss me. And that's okay. uh, but in all sincerity, I hope that you actually gained some knowledge from this class that you can use and apply to whatever your specialty area is. Yes, we focused on vocational rehabilitation counseling because we could not cover every specialty area. But there are a lot of things that you learn as far as the case management process in documenting, 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 documenting. Documenting is essential. It's essential in every area of counseling. Documenting, because if you don't document it, it didn't happen. And trust me, if you don't document somewhere down the road, it will cause a problem. Or as some people say, it'll come back to bite you. So be very, very careful and make sure that you're documenting things. Also, this week you're going to submit your final project, your capstone project. When you submit that to me, I prefer that it's in a PDF format or a Word format. If you are limited to using your phone to scan, then make sure that everything's aligned and it's lined up and that it's legible and I can see it. Because if it isn't, then I won't be able to grade it and you won't get a fair grade on this capstone project. So make sure that you cover that. And if you have any problems, just email me. Email me. This week, we're also going to look at Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is the Family-Centered Rehabilitation Case Management. There are, when it comes to the family and including the family in the rehabilitation counseling process, there are limited times that you might actually engage the entire family, but majority of the time you won't. And I'll say for the areas that you all will be going in, when we're looking at the family in its entirety, 99.5% of the time, you probably won't have to deal with a family. So, but we're looking at that and the effects of the disability on the family because we know it has some type of effect, whether negative or positive. You'll see when you read. Also, we're going to look at the 6 areas of need of persons with disabilities and their families, those areas of need. And you'll see that some of those kind of mirror some of the other things that we talked about. And we're also look at resources, community service organizations. Resources, I think, is key in any field that you're in counseling because individuals come to you and they have a need. This need, generally, whatever that need, whatever that lack is, it overlaps and it affects some other area that you can't assist with. But if you can provide them with the resource, that helps tremendously. And it shows that one, that you care. 2, it helps strengthen that relationship that you have with them. And 3, it lets them know that you're knowledgeable about things more than something that they're actually sitting there with you. When it comes to employment, some of you are in clinical mental health might think, or substance use might think, what in the world am I going to do with some of this? Do you think some of your consumers or clients, whichever they're called at where you are, your patients, do you think that they're going to come in and they're going to all be employed and happily employed? Not. So you might be able to take some of these skills that you've learned here and apply some of them to what you have going on with them. So don't discount what has been done and what you've learned because what you've learned throughout this term, yes, it was focused on vocational rehabilitation counseling as far as their case management in the process, but you also picked up some gems along the way that you will be able to use in your field. We don't want you to be so narrow-minded and so laser focused on just your specialty area because you're going to include that. When you're looking at school counseling, do you think you're going to talk about employment and careers? Yes, you definitely will. Substance abuse. You have many people, substance abuse, vocational rehab, even clinical mental health, people that come in that have a criminal background, people that don't have a criminal background, and they're talking about their careers and how unsatisfied they are. You can go look at things such as job satisfactory and things like that. So you'll have base knowledge. We won't say you will be an expert, but you have some resource that you can come back and you can come back to this class and you can look at some things and think, "Ooh, I remember we covered this here. Let me see what they said about this in this class. What was said about that?" So use this class as a resource. Use it as a resource. And as in always, I always close my class with one of my favorite quotes that I think applies to the field of counseling. And that is Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you've done for them. They'll forget what you've said to them, but they will never forget how you made them feel." We're in the field of counseling. We don't break people down, we don't tear them down. We want them to have a wonderful, beneficial, efficient, effective experience with us. All righty? You have a great day, and you all go ahead and be great because I know you all will.